Are you a mobile person who prefers to rent versus buy?
Or are you looking for a city where you can geo arbitrage so you can cut your expenses to be able to either buy a home in the future where you'd more ideally like to live or be able to save for retirement?
Here are 10 cities that are both LGBTQ friendly and are more affordable for renters.
Coming in at number 10 is Columbia, Maryland. The average rent for your typical two-bedroom, two-bathroom apartment in Columbia is $2,063, which is actually the highest rents on this top 10 list here. Cost of living is also the highest on this top 10 list here, coming in at 118.3% of the national average. So for two individuals earning the median income of $94,000 a year each, it would take 13.2% of their combined salaries to be able to rent in Columbia, Maryland. For two individuals earning the average income of $119,000 a year each, it would take 10.4% of their combined salaries to be able to rent in Columbia, Maryland. So Columbia, Maryland, as you might have guessed it, has both the highest median and average incomes on this top 10 list here.
It has the highest of everything on that top 10 on this top
Pretty
10
much.
list. Coming in at number 9 is Juno, Alaska. Now, rents in Juno, Alaska are $1,300 a month for your typical two-bedroom, two-bathroom. For individuals earning $61,000 or the median income, two of them, it would take 12.8% of their combined income to cover that rent. For two individuals earning $74,000 or the average income, it would take them 10.5% of that combined income to cover rent.
Number 8 is Rockford, Illinois, where rents average $948 for your average two-bedroom, two-bathroom apartment. Cost of living is the lowest on this top 10 list, coming in at 79% of the national average. So for two individuals earning a median income of $43,000 in Rockford, Illinois, it would take 13.1% of their combined income to be able to cover their rent. For two individuals earning the average income of $55,000 a year, it would take 10.3% of their combined salaries to cover rent. And Rockford, Illinois has the lowest median and average incomes on this top 10 list. So kind of the opposite of Columbia.
Yeah. Coming in at number 7 is another Columbia, and this is Columbia, Missouri, where rents come in at $1,082 for your typical two-bedroom, two-bathroom. It would take 12.6% of the combined income of two individuals earning the median income of $51,000 each to cover rent. It would take a whopping 9.7% of that combined average income of $67,000 for two people to be able to cover rent.
This is Queer Money Podcast, episode number 533, and we're continuing our most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly cities series in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. And this week we're covering the most affordable cities for LGBTQ plus renters per a listener or a viewer request. So how did we come up with this measurement? So we took the average rent for a two-bedroom, two-bathroom apartment per Zillow and divided it by the monthly income of two individuals earning the median or average incomes per the U.S. Census. Then, of course, we added the HRC overlay for the Municipal Equality Index. And then last week, we covered the top 10 most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly cities for homebuyers.
The mission of Queer Money is to financially empower the LGBTQ plus community. Join us in thanking Capital One for supporting that mission.
Number 6 is Akron, Ohio, where rents average $1,117 per month for your average two-bedroom, two-bathroom apartment. So for two individuals earning the median income in Akron of $53,000 each, it would take 12.8% of their combined salaries to cover rental expenses. For two individuals earning the average income of $70,000 a year each, it would take 9.6% of their combined salaries to be able to cover rental expenses in Akron.
All right, starting off with our top 5 is Erie, Pennsylvania, coming in at number 5, where rents there average $1,001 for your typical two-bedroom, two-bathroom.
Don't forget that dollar.
Right. Two individuals who earn the median income of $50,000, it would take 11.9% of their combined income to cover rent. And for two individuals who are earning the average income of $62,000, it would take 9.7% of their combined income to cover rent.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin scores a number 4 position, with the average rent coming in at $1,193 per month. For two individuals earning the median income of $57,000 a year, it would take 12.5% of their combined salaries to be able to cover rent in Milwaukee. Now, for the average income of $76,000 a year, it would take 9.4% of two individuals' income to cover rental expenses there in Milwaukee.
All right, number 3 is Dubuque, Iowa, where rents come in at a whopping $879 for your typical 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
My first apartment in Denver when I moved out on my own was $850 a month. That was in 1999.
Yeah. So for 2 individuals who would be earning the median income of $46,000, it would take 11.4% of their combined income to cover rent. For 2 individuals earning the average income of $58,000, it would take 9.1% of their combined income to cover rent.
Capital One Auto Navigator does more than just auto financing. We're here to help you find a car you love, too. Shop millions of cars from thousands of dealers nationwide. Research your favorite makes and models. Explore dealers near you and more. All on Auto Navigator.
Hey, worth noting that all but 2 cities on this top 10 list here have cost of living below the national average. So that's pretty damn affordable. All cities, however, did score a 100 on the Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index. So we know that they're LGBTQ plus friendly. And as we've been learning, as we've been traveling across the country, a lot of these smaller cities that are scoring 100s are actually quite LGBT friendly, despite what the popular belief might be. For context, though, if you wanted to rent in San Francisco, where a lot of us like to migrate to and think of sort of the ultimate goal for LGBTQ plus folks, it takes 20% of the median income of $104,000 a year to afford the typical apartment. Now, that's for a combined salary, right?
Yes, it is.
Same. So it's not just one individual. That's a combined salary of $104,000 each. It takes 14.2% of the average income of $147,000 a year to be able to afford the typical apartment in San Francisco. So not only are those salaries out of range for a lot of folks, but I don't know, that monthly rent is out of range for a lot of folks too.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind, I know that a lot of people hear this this figure that you shouldn't spend more than 30% of your income on your housing. That 30% is your take-home pay. So what we're providing here is incomes based on what the average income is, because we weren't able to determine what the tax rate would be for individuals. Plus, there's all sorts of other things involved when it comes to renting. You may or may not have to pay for utilities and all of the other things that are necessary for you to be able to live in that apartment. So because we're not able to take that into consideration, it's not a good idea to compare that 30% to these figures here. These are all just for context, and we rank them based on how much the individuals would have to pay of their total income versus their take-home pay.
Exactly. So for all the data that we're collecting through this entire series, please go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities. Now we have some honorable mentions this week. Coming in at number 13 was Champaign, Illinois. Coming at number 14 is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which scored the number 8 position last week when we did the analysis for homebuyers. And then coming in at number 21 is Rochester, New York. As we've been sharing over this series, that Rochester is becoming a safe haven for transgender folks. So definitely check that out.
You probably also noticed that all of these are cities in colder or cooler climates. So here are a few from warmer climates. Scottsdale, Arizona, surprisingly, which is an expensive part of the Phoenix area, came in at number 31, in part because the incomes are quite a bit higher. Atlanta, Georgia came in at number 36, and Norman, Oklahoma, which is part of the Sun Belt, came in at number 49. Now, we know that warmer climates are in high demand right now, which means that when there's high demand, there's high prices, because in part, a lot of the brand new building that's going on in these warmer climates are quote unquote luxury apartments.
Everything's luxury these days.
I would venture to say that most of these plywood built 3- and 4-story buildings are not necessarily luxury. They're just new, so everybody thinks they're luxury.
Something to keep in mind though about the colder climate is that the colder climates make you want to cuddle with your partner more.
That's true. And many of these cities are cities that have shown up on our list when we talk about climate change ready cities. So remember to smash that like and share button and let other queer folks know about the video or this episode. Coming in at number 2 is Racine, Wisconsin. Again, another city that keeps popping up on our lists. And that's in part because the rents in Racine are $932 a month for your typical 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. For individuals who are earning the median income of $51,000, 2 of them, it would take 10.9% of their combined income to cover that rent. For individuals who are earning the average income of $69,000, it would take 8.1% of their combined income to cover rent.
All right, winner chicken dinner is Davenport, Iowa, with rents average rents average $862 per month, coming in at the lowest on this list of 10. For two individuals who are earning a median income of $47,000 a year each, it would only take 10.9% of their combined salaries to be able to cover rental expenses. For two individuals earning the average income of $66,000 a year each, it would only take 7.9% of their combined income to cover rental expenses. So that is significantly lower than where we started out on this top 10 list here. So what are your thoughts? Share them in the comments section of YouTube, TikTok, or Spotify, or wherever you happen to be catching this podcast. And then if you want to see all the data from this growing series, please go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One, N.A., member FDIC.
Join us Tuesday when we talk with Charisse and Vicky Pasha about how their gender-inclusive clothing brand, Dapper Boy, became $1 million brand. And then next Thursday for more affordable LGBTQ-friendly cities.
And if you'd like to see the data from this growing series that we're collecting, please go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities or click the link in your podcast player if you're listening. Have a great weekend.